obviously as a DB, you're gonna get burnt. No matter what, we're gonna get a big play off of you. You started talking about that earlier. What's that mentality that you gotta have?
Like I think you have to really believe that like nobody out here can mess with me. Like regardless of like, you might be 5-star, you might be first rounder, but like out here, like on the field, like you can't mess with me. Like, because like, I mean, if you're out there and like you think he can, then I feel like there's seeds of doubt in your head about yourself. Like you cannot have that out there.
Yeah.
Like if there's any seeds of doubt, one, the ball is gonna find you. Like the ball is gonna find you, and it's just like there's a certain level of confidence you just have to have to play this position, and it has to be unwavering, like regardless of result. You know,
I am super excited about this episode. Derek Branch, safety for the Nebraska Huskers, will be joining me, and he will share a little bit about his story, not only as a walk-on player, but as a great student athlete. If you don't know me, I'm Eduardo Sicilia, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, and founder of 2% Football. I really hope you enjoy this conversation. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate you being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, like I said in the intro, we have Derek Branch, current Husker, heading into your final year of eligibility.
Yes,
How do you feel about that?
It feels crazy. I mean, there's just been so many highs and lows of my journey, and kind of feeling like it's getting towards the end, and feeling like my time with the game is maybe kind of dwindling down. It's a surreal feeling.
Yeah. I love your story for multiple aspects, but only 2% of high school athletes get to make it to a D1 college, right?
Yeah.
So you not being a 5-star recruit, highly sought out after, you having to earn your spot.
Oh yeah.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
I would love for you to share a little bit about that.
It's funny you say that, because I remember there would be like times in high school I'd be like working out with some people that would have like offers over me, and like, you know, like things like that, and I would just be like, dang, like I feel like I'm just as good. Like I don't know what it is that they're not pulling the trigger of these offers. And it was, you know, my recruiting process was a little different than most. I was sort of a late bloomer in high school. Like I was, you know, I started as a sophomore. I was a good player, but like in terms of like being like a Division I like caliber like prospect, I wasn't necessarily like there at that point. So just instead of, you know, worrying about all that, just like, you know, during the summer, it's just focus on getting better, just get better the next summer, come back my junior year, come back a different player than I was my sophomore year. Still like sort of, I'm generating buzz now, kind of starting to, you know, schools are reaching out, kind of sending letters and stuff, getting ready to set up visits and do that whole like recruiting process. And then like I remember like it was yesterday, I was just on a visit to Wyoming, all the way out there, cool visit, like first college visit. I'm ready to like do the thing. We got like 8 visits planned all the way across the country. COVID, like literally like right as I got back from my trip, COVID happened. So now it's just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. People are like, the COVID year's introduced, and now people don't know like what their number's gonna be like. Can we offer you, can we not? Everybody at that point wanted me to run and see what my like testing numbers were gonna be, because it's not just how you play football, you know, it's the measurables and it's all that. So everybody wanted to see like what I was going to run, to be able to verify like what they were seeing on film, but there wasn't an opportunity to go do that based off of just, you know, COVID and like get on campus and doing all these things. So it's super stressful time, all that.
And this is your summer between junior and senior.
Yes,
right?
which is like a major recruiting summer, major. Like,
that's your big one.
Yes, that's the big one. You're trying to get eyes on people. Yeah. And I always felt like if these people just were able to like see me like play football, it would have been like no brainer. Like they're just see that, oh, that's a player. You know, I wasn't able to do any camps. I was able to do one camp up in Omaha at the Warren Academy. And I ended up being like camp MVP, like doing things like that. And at that point I was like, there's good people in the state, but like I feel like I'm the best DB in the state. Like nobody can really tell me anything else. Like that's the mindset I have now after this camp.
You gotta
and especially like at defensive back, like you can't be out there thinking that you are anything besides like the best player out there, because then you're gonna
remind me, because I want to touch on that in a little bit, but continue.
That mindset. So then do that camp. Now it's like just time to to go into my senior year. And I've still been just like working in the summers, just focused on getting better, like out with my dad, doing stuff that like people would, like nobody was seeing, but it was, you know, I was coming back a different player every, like, you know, after every off season. So then my senior year hits, I'm having a really good senior year, and you know, schools are starting to offer. I got some offers. Cornell was actually the first school that ever reached out to me, and I was super interested. You know, growing up, I was a Stanford fan, and they were telling me that like the Stanford's campus was modeled after Cornell. Like there's just these weird connections, and you know, eventually I ended up committing to Cornell about midway through my senior year.
Okay.
And so I was hyped about that, like Ivy League, getting to go play Division I football. Like the pinnacle to me was always to play Division I football. Like that was the pinnacle. Like my dad played at Nebraska. It was like Division I athlete. Like that was it. So I finally felt like I was going to go do that. And then I don't know if you're familiar with like they can't give you scholarships in the Ivy League. Yeah. They can only do financial aid stuff. Yeah. So we're already like teetering on like if my family was going to be able to like do this with the financial aid package. Yeah. And then my dad got a promotion at work. So ended up messing with our financial aid package. Oh. So great for the family. Dad got promoted, right? But doing better. But for me, like now I can't go to the school I want to go to. So it was about like 2 weeks before signing day, I had to reopen my recruitment. And now I'm sort of scrambling, like where am I gonna go? What's gonna happen? I just kind of like evaluated the options that were out in front of me. And you know, Nebraska felt like the best option where I was gonna, honestly, I was just going to like see, because they weren't recruiting me a ton in high school. It was very, very minimal. So it was a little bit of like, I'm just gonna go see if I'm good enough to be here and play at Nebraska. Like we'll just see, you know, if I'm not, then I'll transfer somewhere else, but like, just go give it a shot. Try it. And then that began my journey at Nebraska.
Oh, that's awesome. On a past interview, we just had Ron Kellogg. I was telling you about it. And he kind of went through the same, where he won the MVP on the camp here in Nebraska. Even though he was from Nebraska, he was not thinking about coming to be a Husker, and eventually, some way, somehow, ended up here. I think it's funny because even though I'm just a year older than you, now we're at such a different point in life. But essentially, what you were going through your junior, going into your senior year, that was me, my senior year, coming out of it. Between the injury my senior year and COVID, that messed up my whole process, my recruiting process. Obviously, visiting all the campuses is nice, and I want to ask you about that. But yeah, one of my main options was between WPI in Pennsylvania, and I was thinking about going to MIT because I just wanted Ivy League, all that experience as well. But yeah, it's a whole different thing between scholarships and all that. For me, it was super enjoyable to go to all the campuses and get to hear about their systems. A couple of coaches like installed me a couple of plays just to get a feel for their offense. How did that process feel like for you?
I mean, so the recruiting process is tricky, right? Because it's super fun when you're in it. Well, you know, it was for me, it was a little like, it was fun to go on the visits and do that stuff and like feel like you're wanted. To me,
you're the pretty girl on campus.
You know, I didn't like the part of the recruiting process where I felt sometimes I was trying to get people to recruit.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I didn't necessarily like that part, but when they were recruiting me, and like I like to sit down with coaches on the board and like get up on the board. So they were, you know, some coaches were impressed by that, but like just, you know, getting to talk with them, I was getting asked like the tough questions and really see how people like operate in kind of their day to day versus, you know, when they're in the recruiting process, trying to make everything sound, you know, glamorous. Yeah. But then there is most people talk about it, but like the difference between, you know, your coach when they're recruiting you versus when you actually
playing for them. You know? Yeah.
So it's a different, it's different. So you kind of have to make sure that you keep that in mind when you're going through the process.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not exactly the same, but when you're dating the first 3 months, right? Yeah. Like those goggles of, hey, I'm just flirting with you, to now you're part of the relationship.
Yeah.
For me, going back to that experience, it was very meaningful because even though I was getting recruited to be a player, I wanted to play, that was my dream. I vividly remember both times at MIT and at Iowa State asking the coaches, hey, whenever I'm done, I want to keep coaching. What would you advise? And that for me was huge. Was there anything like that where, maybe not on the coaching side, but even though you didn't go to that school, someone gave you like a golden nugget that you kept on the back pocket?
That's a good question. I think like the staff at Cornell, they were great in like because to me the academic side was big. Like it was always preached to me kind of from my family, like the degree is like the most important. Like that's gonna carry you. It's gonna follow with you. So early on in the process, like the Cornell staff was telling me to make sure that I understood like what kind of systems and processes they had to make sure that I was going to be able to maximize my degree and maximize myself like as a person outside of just on the football field. Because I don't know, I guess like the way to recruit me, it wasn't to like tell me like, oh, I put this many people in the NFL, I did this. No, it was to like, you know, this time I'm going to maximize you as a person. This is how we're going to do this for football, but we're also going to do this for you in school and you know, in the community and you after football. So that was, you know, when I started to ask those questions, it kind of like was able to peel back some layers for me, and I was able to like, you know, figure out what I actually wanted at school.
I love that you bring that up, because when I shifted my focus from I'm no longer going to be a player to now let me focus on the educational side, obviously Nebraska ends up being my decision, but I visited those campuses now with a different mindset, right? Like what creates the best future for me? Obviously for me, huddle and 2% football existing at that point was a huge factor. But even though I've seen your career and I've gone from like just cracking the team, special teams, now getting reps, a defensive back and everything, you have, and I'm going to let you speak on it, you have earned a lot on the academic side.
Yeah.
Being an active fellow builder, inclusive business leader, cohort, all that. I think, and this goes for all the high school players or people heading into college, that side is huge. And I applaud you for everything that you have accomplished. Would you talk about, a little bit about that?
I mean, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just think it's just so, to me, it's so important to be well-rounded. Like, I think anything of too much is just almost a disease. Like you know, you have to be well-rounded, and I've just seen so much practical application of athletics to the academic side and to elsewhere. To me, I don't get how people don't make the correlation. Yes. It's like everything that you're being asked of in athletics is exactly what you're being asked of in the academic side or professionally. It's just being framed in a different way.
Right. And to paint the picture, so obviously 4.0 GPA, all the way up there.
Not 4 points.
All right. Your GPA is amazing. Yeah. Would you share about the awards that you have won through that and what each one of them?
Yes, a couple different things. I've been academic All Big Ten. You know, obviously, like you said, builder, IBL. I won student of the month for the College of Business. I just recently won the Sam Foltz Hero Leadership Award, which was a huge one for me. That was really impactful. You know, just growing up and knowing Sam's impact and kind of having his family be around the team and kind of getting to know them a little bit and hear their story. That was a big one for me. I'm trying to think anything else on top of my head.
What would you say to someone who thinks they can't manage being great at both?
I think like anything, it's gonna take work, but it's not as much as what you think. It's just like a little bit extra here or there. It's just saying yes to doing the extra activity. It's saying yes when you've had a full day to the 6:30 meeting that you don't want to go to, but like in the end, it's gonna make an impression on somebody, and that's what's gonna last. It's these like little things, these little decisions that you decide to make that ultimately, when you look at the end, it's what sets you apart from everybody else. It's not this major radical change that you have to make. It's just like little extra here and there at the end of the beginning of your day.
One of my favorite professors, Sam Nelson, he would always tell us, say yes to everything unless you have a really good reason to say no.
Yeah.
And for me, that has caused a huge snowball effect where, kind of like you said, if it's a great opportunity, unless I have a really good excuse to say no to, I better be there. Mm-hmm. I better show up, because you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know what type of impact that person or that event might have on you, or the other way around, right? Derek Bench doesn't know when you're on the field what kids on the stands, like, we can talk about the Ron Kellogg experience, but who's looking at you and thinking, oh, I want to be that guy in 10 years.
Absolutely. You have no idea. And It's funny because our this Coach Rule's staff, they do a good job of putting that in perspective for us a little bit for the guys that are trying to be conscious of that.
Right.
Like it's like, we'll do these kids camps, right? And it's like, obviously not all these kids are going to go on to be,
right,
future Huskers, but like how many of those people are going to come back and be, part of the university, or eventually be donors, or eventually be business owners, or eventually be like prominent community members? Like we don't know that, but like the impact that we're having right now, them at this camp, like they'll remember that for the rest of their lives.
100%.
Like I grew up here, so I have like different stories from like Huskers growing up. Like I remember, this is crazy Husker pool, but like Dejan Gomes, I remember there was a Sam and Louis downtown, and I was a little too nervous to actually go ask him for his autograph. But my mom went up there like we get sometimes with these kids coming up, and my mom went up, asked for his autograph, and that autograph like sat above my bed for I don't know how long. Like I remember how impactful it was when the Huskers came to like my elementary and middle school, and like it would do like the school is cool week, or like I know how impactful that is. So to like to be able to go do that for somebody else is powerful to me.
I think that's the beautiful part of sports. It's so much different. I've used this in a couple of presentations. I started with like, hey, so money, your resources is the most impactful thing you might have, right? Well, how many of you know the name of the CEO of your bank, right? And not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And I can say this in Nebraska, but it applies anywhere. Like, okay, but what's the name of the head coach of the Huskers, right? Like everyone's gonna raise their hand. It is different. Like the eyeballs that it brings to the table is very different. And I think because of that, I saw a video saying that the reason why we look up to you guys, athletes, is because you guys went and chased the same dream since you were little and never backed down from it, right? So I do believe that even though some might disagree, you guys are role models no matter what. Like people are looking out and looking forward to meeting you, to being around your circle. How do you go about being a role model inside and outside the football field?
I think you have to treat it with the utmost responsibility. Like there has to be an understanding that I am a role model, that everything that I'm doing has the ability to be looked at by somebody else. There's a double-edged sword with that, because like sometimes you want to maybe shut that switch off and be able to go do like whatever you want to do, and like you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But that's just not the reality when you're a Husker football player. There's always the spotlight on you. Something, God forbid something goes wrong, like it's just magnified. So you just have to first, I think you have to understand the responsibility that you have, and then I just think if you're true to yourself, I think all that will take care of itself. Once
you're done being part of the Huskers, what would you like it to be, your impact, or how would you like people to describe your interactions with them, whether it's professors, teachers, coaches, players, whatever?
I want them to say, I want to be known as like a force multiplier.
Okay.
Like that I bring up the people around me, that the people around me are better because I'm in the room and I'm like bringing them like positive energy, helping them believe in themselves. Like that's like important to me, that I'm able to impact others in ways that you might not even be able to see. Like in the end result, you're able to see it.
Is there someone in your life that you look up to that was that force multiplier for you?
I don't know if there's necessarily one person. I think I've seen a lot of force multipliers growing up. Like I've had really good coaches and good my family's great, and like so I've seen other people kind of do it, and maybe I've been drawn to that idea a little bit of being able to be a force multiplier like that. Yeah.
What's the biggest lesson you had to learn throughout these past 4 years?
There are no shortcuts. Everybody wants there to be a shortcut. They want it to be easy. They want it to be, what's the hack to get abs, right? There is no hack. Right? What's the hack to get
faster? You go earn it. Yeah.
What's the hack to get faster? Go run fast more. Like that is the hack. That is the secret sauce. Like consistency wins out over everything else, right? There is no shortcut. If you want to be great at something, then you consistently do more than what the next person's doing. And, you know, when you do that for a month and then you compound that for a year and then you compound that for 5 years, you look back and you're like, I'm not even the same person anymore.
Yep.
Like I have just continuously got better and better and better and better. And like, you know, you listen to successful people, like everybody is saying the same thing essentially.
Yeah.
Like everybody is giving you like the formula. It's just hard to follow because like consistency and like being the same person day after day after day after day, that's the hard part.
Yep.
Through the highs and lows of everything, can you just consistently be the same person and bring the same energy and bring the same level of focus day after day?
Even when no one's clapping for you.
Even when no one's clapping for you,
Yep.
even when you feel like you're maybe even going backwards and it's not working out for you, like, can you still come to the table and keep doing it? And when you look at like just a synopsis of successful people, like that's who's figured out how to do that part.
I'm not gonna go there, but obviously the transfer portal is a thing.
Yeah.
It exists. You have gone through 2 coaching staffs.
Yeah.
You have been every single year. You haven't been on different teams. You have had to adjust to different systems.
Yeah.
How did you go through that adversity? How did you earn your spot in this team?
Well, I think when an employer asks me if I'm able to be adaptable, I would say yes. Just earning my spot. It's funny because this year I feel like for the first time I'm sort of back to like all the way being like me, like at practice. Like,
what do you mean by that?
Just back to like how I would have been in like a high school. Like if you would have seen me in like a high school practice when I'm like feeling like the man,
right?
Like that's how you would look at me and see me like at a practice now. Like I feel like I'm back to like being myself again because you know just some like confidence and just like, you know, becoming yourself throughout my time here. So I feel like I'm kind of over that hump now. But I think it was just one, it was people seeing and respecting the way that I've like worked and just been consistent about that. Like there's never been like, regardless of how much I was playing or like what my role was, if they're asking me to play scout team, if they're asking me to be a 2, like regardless of what that was, like I've been a guy that's been like coming every day, like I'm gonna be the same, like I'm gonna be, you know, positive in the locker room, like whatever it is, it'll be the same. And then unfortunately it took a couple plays to be made where people are like, okay, like he's not just a nice guy that's like good, you know, good locker room guy, like he's a player too.
Right.
So it was kind of that combination where, you know, it feels like this year kind of all is coming together to be, you know, something like I think could be special.
I love that for you. Could you share a little bit about the difference between high school and college? Because a lot of great high school players don't get to live the dream that you're living.
Yeah.
What are the main differences? Just from an outsider's perspective, or I guess as a coach, I think the environment is different in the sense of you grow up with these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your first couple of girlfriends are on the stands, your first couple of friends that you grew up with are on the stands. The smell of popcorn, like all that high school vibes. But then you compare it, like pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
And then you compare it to college and it's like 90,000 people and a full stadium and like now it's a whole deal. Biggest differences?
No, it's funny because when I was at Standing Bear and I was telling them about just some things about high school, I was like, embrace this community feel that you have right now where like, you know, everybody, you've grown up with everybody, because like that does not exist really past high school. Yeah, because like, I mean, up to that point, everybody has been on essentially the same trajectory, right?
Yeah.
And you see post high school, everyone starts darting off left and right. And that's like, that was eye-opening to me because it's like, oh, okay, that's how, you know, when I'm looking at my parents, like, oh, that's how people end up, how they end up,
you
know, kind of from this point. But in terms of like football, I think obviously the speed, the physicality, like that's greater.
Yeah.
I think it's the mental side of the game. Like that's what really ends up separating people. Like, cause everybody was the guy at their high school. Everybody's big, fast, but like, can you process information like quickly? Like everybody's big and fast, like everybody, but like your brain has to tell you to go run somewhere fast.
Yeah.
Can you do that part, right? Can you read your keys? Can you pick up the defense? Can you like, in the meetings are like that is like a really big step from high school. Because high school, you might just watch the film from like the game film, like the day after.
Yeah.
But like in college, you're watching every day's practice film. Like you're breaking down every single day's practice film. Like pretty much every single rep from every practice, you're watching, you know, as a group, individually, all that. So like that sort of like mental kind of fatigue that you can get is great. I sometimes tell people, like, you know, imagine the hardest test you ever studied for, like that level of like mental focus that you put into, like you've like put into like a test, like that's like every single like really like moment that I like, that's the mental strain I have like every moment that I'm in, like the meetings, the field, like all that. So like the mental fatigue that you feel, you wouldn't sort of expect it, but like that's definitely a hard part to get over.
That's what I was saying. I was talking with Ron about, I think it's harder than classes.
Oh yeah.
Because it's also reactive, right? Like you have to have your body go through the motion, and if this happens here, I'm gonna do this. Like if then statements, right?
You're constantly going through if then statements.
Right, 100%.
Especially defensive back, because like, I mean, you could have a motion could kick you into a completely different cover, so it's complete if then statements.
Right.
You're constantly talking, and it might not even happen. So then you're
yes.
So I mean, it's that's a great way of putting it.
Going back a little bit into the life paths, I'm feeling this right now.
Yeah.
1 year removed. So when you graduate, it's gonna be 1 year removed for me. Seeing now everyone go into different careers. Yes, it's not high school, but for 4 years you get to interact with the same people, your best friends, people in your same college, and now everyone's doing their thing, and you're happy to see them do their thing. But it's definitely a reality check of like, oh, like now I'm an adult.
Yeah.
So I think that's super real. And even in sports, it applies. On the other hand, to your point, and not trying to plug our product and services that much, right? Whether you're talking about the scattering services or what we're developing right now, if you're just as fast as the other person or just as strong as the other person, because let's be honest, at this point, you guys are the best of the best, right? Like the only level above you is the NFL. If I know where the ball is going, I can assure you I'm gonna beat you to it.
Yes.
Right? So film study for me, football IQ, developing. If my brain has seen these patterns so many times, where now I'm just reacting, I don't even have to think about it, it's second nature to me. That's when you're talking about a great football player. How do you build that stamina, that mental stamina to go every single day and check every single film clip that you can?
A little bit, it's just like practice. I think every day at practice, we talk about sort of like deep and deliberate practice. Like every single day you're going out there to work on something specific, right? And you are trying to push yourself outside of the bounds of what you normally do, because it's like practice. We're trying to get better at that. In terms of the film sessions and stuff like that, I kind of like watching film and kind of breaking it down, but the culture of the room has shifted to where like now the expectation that everybody has watched the film.
Yeah.
And it's the expectation that everybody's watched the film before we even go and meet with the coach about the film. And then it's the expectation after we meet with the coach to then go watch to meet on the film again. Those are like the standards and the culture that's been being developed by like the players, which has been a cool like shift for me to like watch in real time. Like, oh, I see like how this was supposed to go. Like I see it now.
I'm gonna have you over for like we do breakdowns as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you over for like a 3-minute breakdown of a player or something. You talked about expectations and standards. If you go back to the 90s, the Huskers were so dominant. Part of the reason why we were so dominant was our weight room, right? And that was at the college level. Not everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
Now, forget about college. You go back to high school, everyone's lifting. At Standing Bear, we're lifting on summer, right?
Yeah.
I think on that same vein, film study is something that maybe right now colleges are more adept to it. High schools will get to the same spot. I just love, as a fan, as a lover of the game, I just see this evolution, right? Like the standards and expectations just keep rising higher. This becomes more of a science for every single player. What have you noticed since you started playing football at, I don't know, how old were you?
Fourth grade.
Yeah, fourth grade, all the way to this point. What has been the biggest changes that you've noticed as a trend in football?
I would say it's gotta be the RPO game, right? Gotta be the RPO game. I remember like, when I first got introduced, like maybe like early high school, like maybe like late middle school, early high school, has to be the RPO game where we're constantly trying to, you know, the offense is, I mean, they've always tried to create space, but they're just constantly trying to put different like defenders in the
conflict.
Yes, in conflict, and it's like you're trying to make them, they can't pick right, and so that's that the introduction of that part of the game, I think it's been an interesting twist. I love the cat and mouse nature of the game, and there's a lot of times at safety you're sort of the quarterback's first read to try to get like a beat on the coverage, and he's reading you a lot, he's looking you off, you're kind of playing with him, so there's a cat and mouse that goes back with that I personally really enjoy.
On the micro element, and that is a one player versus another player type of matchup, as I see it as a macro element as a coach, I think it's super curious how it's like a cycle where an offense comes up with a creative way of attacking defenses, and then on the next off season you're gonna see defense coordinators find a way to beat that, and now you have to have the beater to the beater, and now it's stacked up. I love that chess element. I love that back and forth element, even the physical element of the game, right? Like linebackers don't look the way they used to in the early 2000s. Like Ray Lewis was just way thicker, way bigger. Now you have a Fred Warner, right?
You gotta be able to run now.
Right. And now we have offenses going back to 2 tight end sets, and let's put a fullback in there and let's run them up. So now you're gonna have the thicker linebacker. It's just a cycle. So as a player, let's go back to that matchup. Me as a quarterback, where's the shell? 2 high, 1 high. Are they rotating? Are they not? Then I'm going to corners. Then I'm coming down to the box. How do you stop me from being able to tell exactly what you guys are doing?
So we will. I mean, if we're gonna show. We're gonna do some different things. Like we're gonna show the shell coverage, then we're gonna, we're gonna flip to something late, or we're gonna, be in something, shift to it, or stay in it because we've been shifting it a lot and giving you a shell and then shifting it. We'll give you a shell and then we'll stay in it, right? And all it is trying to get the quarterback to take a beat, have the ball one time, right? Now we're giving the rush, more of a chance. He's not able to just all right, pick his head up and just know exactly where he's going to the ball, right? And then the quarterback sometimes they have a tendency to if the rush is in their face and they're, you're getting pressure through the A gaps, then they kind of, they can have a tendency to drop their eyes and start looking at the rush a little bit. So, if we can buy the rush, it's a half a second, that's the difference between, them getting a strip sack and him, get the ball off, just those little edges that we're always chasing. That's
how crucial is that compounding effect between the rush to the coverage.
It all works together. Like that's what people don't understand about football. Like it all works together. Like you might see somebody miss a tackle, but it's because like someone got out of their gap, so now he has more space to try to make like it's all connected. Like we have to, even if we're in like a coverage disguise, right? We have to be coordinated with the linebackers so that like we're all showing the same thing, because if we're not all showing the same thing, like either gonna be able to pick that up.
You gave it away.
Yeah, something's off here. Like it's not right, right? So like we all have to be coordinated, all have to be working at the same time. It's like 11 people have to be all doing the exact same thing for you to be successful on defense. And the thing about defense is like it can be like fatiguing, because you like for the whole game, everybody has to do exactly what they're supposed to do, right? One person for one play decides that, I'm gonna kind of freelance and try to do my own thing, go make a play. Now you're creased, now it hits for 60 when you've been shutting them out the whole game. Like it's just like that's the thing about defense, that you have to just like keep the consistency of defense is what sometimes, it can trip people up.
I've heard some coaches say that it's easier to destroy than build or construct, which fair enough. But they say it as in the defense is destroying and the offense is building or constructing. I see it the other way around. For me, I just need 3 yards a pop. Like if I get 3 yards a play, 3 times 3 is 9. And if I go for it with a tush push, I'm getting that first down. So I think you require way more discipline on defense. Way more. Like genuinely as an offensive coordinator or quarterback's coach, like I feel bad for defensive coordinators because I just have to do it right once. And I don't even have to have a great play call if we just happen to make someone miss. Right? Because let's say quarterback run game, we have a one plus in the box, right? If you're the safety and you have to come downhill and I just make you miss, boom, the 10 yards. So what do you think is the most crucial element of making a cohesive defense? Not just playmakers, 11 guys doing their thing, but everyone working together.
It's all communication. All communication. Like literally from the moment a tackle happens, right? Like communicating, like, all right, what's down and distance? What's the personnel? Right now we have down and distance, we have personnel. All right, what's our call? Right, what's our call? All right, what are the things what are the things and alerts that their personnel and their formation is telling us to be ready for? What could we get to based off of motions? Like what coverages and like what options do we have? What like things do we have in our toolbox to get ready for that? Like and that's all happening within like
seconds.
Yeah, within seconds of them like being up on the line, and now they're ready to go. So now we have to be ready to go. So it's like there's a lot of things happening at once, and if you have people that are just staring at you, not actually talking, or like you have a motion coming, you actually know it's coming because the dude to your right or dude to your left wasn't saying it. Now we look like a bad defense.
Yeah. Do you like to be on the box or in the post more?
I like.
Or maybe deep half.
No, I like being in the. I like being in the box.
All right. You like to get dirty in there?
Yeah, because for me, I gotta get my first little contact to be like
a lick of it.
Yeah, and then once I get my first contact, it's like, all right, we're playing football. Like,
right.
So I gotta be like, I like being in the box kind of at the start.
When you're in the post.
Yeah.
Number one thing I tell the quarterbacks, I don't care if this is cover 3, cover 1. Like if we have a post safety, that's our guy. Like I need to move him up with my eyes. I don't care. Like that's your responsibility. When or how do you trust the quarterback's eyes on certain situations, and when can you tell, okay, he's looking me off because he's throwing the other way?
I think that it's all like feel and film study. Like you have to watch it enough times in the film room to then be able to be out on the field and just be able to just feel it and play off of just instinct at that point. I kind of believe that if the quarterback has the ability to go here, 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 make a full field progression, like that's on the rush. Like when we're talking about like we're working together, like if he's able to go from here, 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 I don't care like what
too much
like,
time.
Yeah, that's too much time. Like he's gonna find somebody open. It's hard to cover. Like it's not easy to cover. The more you kind of study it, like they might take a quick peek, but for the most part, quarterbacks look at where they're throwing. For the most part, so like it's understanding like what his little peek looks like. But like if he's giving you that, like go, go, yes, go, try to make a play.
So I play safety for a little bit as well, but just as a coach, I feel like the toughest thing to do as a safety, and correct me if I'm wrong, is when you're playing too high and you have to fill up the alley, just because of the amount of space that you have to work against. And whenever we have someone like cracking you, because the corner might think this is a slant, now you're getting cracked, you have to communicate with the corner. How do you battle those two circumstances?
So we do a ton of indie on actually those two circumstances, because like that, like you said, that open field tackle, like when it breaks, that's usually like it's a huge tackle. It's either touchdown or not. Right. So, but it's you with 53 yards of space to try to make a tackle. So it's like we're kind of taught you want to kind of eat up the space that he has. So it's kind of eat up the space and try to eliminate his ability to have like a two-way go. So kind of put yourself on an angle, eat up the space, and then just go try to make that tackle.
Yeah.
In terms of like the crack block, I think it goes back to like pre-snap communication. Like if I feel like, because a lot of times when they're cracking you, there will be, they kind of cut down their split a little bit. So it'll be like alert, like, hey, like his split's cut, like be ready, it's a possibility.
Right.
So it's like, so if I see that, I'm telling the corner like, hey, like, if he looks like he's cracking, like I better hear a crack call. Because I'm not really down for getting ear hold the whole game. Right. So like if I'm like I'm gonna get down here, I'm gonna call crack, but I'm also gonna like if say it's like cover 3 or something, I'm down in the box, like I'm gonna make an adjustment. I might tighten down my alignment a little bit, try to beat the crack, and do some things like that. But yeah, it's pre-snap communication, and then if you feel it, you have to, I believe you have to stay inside the crack, corner crack replaces, and that's what most. A lot of teams, they're trying to make quarters tackle and run game.
100%. So, like that's my bread and butter. Like I want that.
So they want the ball to roll off the edge, and then all right, we're gonna see if you want to tackle all game.
Well, it's just they're so used to running all the time and trying to cover and trying to make a play by picking the ball up. Now, if you want to be part of this thing as well, now that changes the whole.
Especially if the corner's down in press, you know, you can with that crack, you can take 2 for 1 pretty easily, because it takes a lot of reps for the corner to have a feel for that's a crack block and I need to come off of that, versus that's a drag or that's an over and I got to run with that.
Yeah, and I think on the offensive side, that's what we try to make everything look the same, right?
Yeah.
If you're running a slant or you're using this release, use it exactly the same way, whether it's run game or pass game. Obviously, as a DB, you're gonna get burnt. No matter what, we're gonna get a big play off of you. You started talking about that earlier. What's that mentality that you gotta have?
I think you have to really believe that like nobody out here can mess with me. Like regardless of like, you might be 5-star, you might be first rounder, but like out here, like on the field, like you can't mess with me. Like, because like, I mean, if you're out there and like you think he can, then I feel like there's seeds of doubt in your head about yourself. Like you cannot have that out there. Like if there's any seeds of doubt, one, the ball is gonna find you. Like the ball is gonna find you, and it's just like there's a certain level of confidence you just have to have to play this position, and it has to be unwavering. Like regardless of result, it's such a process over result, position.
Let's say we complete a post over the top on you. How do you access that next play mentality?
So we talk about what's next a lot, and it's just like, but it's not like what's next, just it's like eagerly looking to what's next. So it's like, I got beat on post, whatever. I'm gonna try to look at that as like as a challenge now. Like, now I get to play red zone defense. Now we get a stop in the red zone. Instead of like, dang, I just gave a post, might have let the team down. Like it's like, now we get to show that we're a good red zone defense.
Yeah.
And like when you have that mindset of looking at it as like a challenge, now it's, as a competitor, that that's what you're looking to be challenged. You're looking for things like that.
I love that. And I think that's a very defensive minded thing. Both my head coaches in high school were defensive minded. And one of them kept saying, like, what's the most important play? The next play.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for both positive and negative plays. Like, you might have just scored a touchdown. Like, let's get this 2-point conversion or whatever. Let's do everything the right way.
Always about the next play.
100%. I think this is also an interesting conversation because as a coach and even as a teammate, I think we're looking for different characteristics personality-wise for each position.
Absolutely.
I've been talking about Shedeur Sanders like a lot, I guess, but his dad, Dion, the type of unwavering confidence he had, don't get me wrong, like he was a dog, right? Like best corner of all time. But he needed that for his position.
Yeah.
As a coach, I'm probably looking for something a little bit different on a quarterback.
Yeah.
I want calm, cool, and collected, right? Like, yes, be super confident, be at my home super confident, and have that emotional outburst here and there. But I need you to be able to process everything with your brain before you even throw the ball.
Yeah.
How would you describe the perfect DB mentality?
I just think he, like you said, he has an unwavering confidence in himself, but also he has unwavering confidence in the preparation that he puts leading up to the moment. And that's what I think, like when you have like an elite DB, that's what separates them. Like their confidence isn't just like bravado. It's because they know that they've put in more work than you. And I think like Dion he's a freaky athlete.
Yeah.
But I think he would tell you like that was his secret sauce. Like the film study and just the preparation that went into it. That's what makes you so confident. Like if you know that you put in more work than somebody, it's like he can't, like, you think he can mess with me? Like he doesn't have half of what I've done. Like when you step out on the field with that, I just think it's so evident. And like, because you can't fake that. You can't fake that level of confidence and just knowing that like you've done more. And I also think you can kind of see it in people when they don't have that, and they can sort of start to crumble when the moment comes, because there's seeds of doubt in their head, because they know in the back of their head they didn't do everything that they maybe needed to do or should have done to prepare for this moment. So I feel like you can see it both ways. Yeah,
that's fair. When it comes to that element, the mental element of getting ready specifically to create turnovers? I obviously think that being around the ball, good things happen, right?
Yeah.
Like a tip ball or whatever, but you can't really control that. It's a little bit of luck. How do you approach preparing yourself or priming yourself to create a turnover, create a play, big play?
You have to like the ball constantly has to be in your mind. You have to be thinking about it all the time. I guess for me, it's not the most natural to be running at somebody thinking tackle and also thinking about punching out the ball, right? So you have to like, first in practice, you have to develop the practice habit of like, I'm hunting the football. Because like, if I get the football, that's gonna get me, so it's gonna get me paid, right?
Yep.
So I'm hunting the football. I'm like the ball in the air, like you have to go and receive the ball. Like I'm now hunting the ball. I'm going to try to attack the football in the air. If, you know, like you see the ball, you know, we're allowed, but like we're supposed to punch the ball if it's like to us at practice, right?
Right.
So it's like constantly like seeing the ball, right? Like you like, because, you know, sometimes you just for the tackle, like it's like locking on the ball and then like just like creating the muscle memory of like punching at the ball.
See ball, get ball.
See ball, get ball, and it's like just doing that over and over and over again. Like if you watch NFL film, like they are constantly attacking the football. Constantly, like all the time. And I noticed that like it's been a like major point of emphasis the past like year and a half probably.
Yeah.
But like I was watching NFL film, like even at just any Sunday game, like constantly every tackle somebody's punching at the ball.
Well, because you never know, that turnover changes the whole complexion of the game. Like
Literally.
that can win you a game. 2013, obviously probably one of the best defenses in the last 20 years, the Seahawks. When Pete Carroll got there, he installed, I want to say it was on Wednesdays, it was just a turnover day.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter whether you tackle or not. They were trying to go hunt for the ball, whether it's a fumble or picking it off. For example, the Steelers, I saw it this year on the HBO series. They reward the result they want to get.
Yeah.
So I think they would give them like a t-shirt and a hat, depending how many turnovers they would get. So yeah, as a staff, if you start rewarding exactly what you're looking for, I think that's a way of incentivizing players to go get it.
Definitely. We had a few things like that where we'd have like some like ball hawk of the day, like things like that, just to incentivize and just get our minds on the football. I mean, it has to constantly be on the football. Yeah. If it's not, then you miss opportunities. Right. And there's so few and far between, and you never know when they're going to come. It's like you can't miss it when it comes.
So we went through your whole journey. Actually, before we talk about the present day, share a little bit about that one game, seeing the Hail Mary.
Seeing the Hail Mary, that was this was insane. So it was the first game my dad ever took me down to the tunnel walk. So we had like season tickets for like games. So I've been going to games since like before I even like really cared about football, and I was just like picking up peanuts in the stands and like so like for a long time I've been going to Husker football games, and this just happened to be the only game like I convinced him to go down the tunnel watch. So we're down there. Obviously it's crowded and everything. We finally get up there. I remember giving high fives to everybody, and Ron Kellogg. I gave him a high five right as he was leaving the tunnel and going out on the field. And so that was a cool moment. Obviously go up to the stands, watching the game. And, you know, fourth quarters happened. I think they like scored kind of late in the fourth. And I remember people starting to leave. And I remember my dad actually telling me like, we don't leave early for games. We stay till the end. You never know. Right. You never know what's going to happen. Like all this.
We believe.
Yes.
We believe.
So then, you know, final drive happens. You know, I remember it felt like the ball was in the air forever. You know, you see it pop up, and then Western Campus right there catches it. You know, my dad and I are going crazy. Right. Like, you know, we gave him a high five before. Like, you think, you know, I'm little, so I'm like, you think I had a part to do with that? Like, you know,
I gave him good luck.
Yeah. So no, that was just that was one of my favorite memories in the stands. I said that and the Miami game. Those are probably my two favorite moments in the stands.
I'm gonna do my best to try to find that video of him coming out of the tunnel. If I can find that clip, that would be huge for this. But I do love the fact that just getting to talk with him, and I work with him, but getting to talk with him and seeing from that interview to this, how he, older generation, older Husker impacted you.
Yeah.
I want to see who has gotten impacted by you or your generation, right? And that's coming up at some point. So last year of eligibility, What's your approach? What's your mindset? How are you feeling?
I'm trying to approach this year just like a professional, honestly. Like this is my job, like this is my livelihood. I feel like I gotta have a summer that like, I feel like I've had good summers in the past, but like it's like another notch. Like what other notch can we reach? Like that's what I'm trying to do this summer. I'm trying to continue to step up as a leader with the team and kind of lead in my own ways, and just keep pushing everybody to ultimately where we're trying to get to. But yeah, it's got to be a big summer.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for this season. I think we built, or I guess you guys did, build this foundation.
Yeah.
Right now, going into the third year of Coach Rule.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a big year. I'm excited to see what you guys accomplish. If there's a kid out there, middle schooler, high schooler, who's trying to, follow your footsteps, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to believe that they can do it. I was in their shoes one time, and the thought of being a Nebraska football player felt borderline unattainable. Like it was just they're almost like these celebrities when you don't have a professional sports team. So like the thought of going to be that, it's like, all right, that's let's set realistic goals and expectations,
Right.
But I'm living proof that you can be that. Like don't ever let somebody tell you what you can or can't be. If you put in the work and you believe in yourself, just let the chips fall where they may, and you might be surprised where you end up at the end of the day.
I wish nothing, like I said, but success for you this season. I wholeheartedly believe, and I want this for you to be in the league after next year, right? And this interview is gonna be way crazier than I'm gonna have to bring you back and be like, hey, now tell us the story, right? But if that would not happen, let's say that's not the case, where do you see Derek Bench going from there, post being a player for your whole life?
That is, I think that's gonna be tough. I don't know if I've fully mentally prepared for what that is gonna, or what that's gonna.
Spoiler alert: you never fully mentally prepared for that.
And that's what I've also heard.
Yes.
So I have some of my own sort of entrepreneurial things that I kind of want to pursue. There's also some things in financial services that I'm interested in and think I'll be good at. So just kind of trying to figure out my lane, what I'm going to be best at, where I want to put my time and energy post football. But I am excited for that phase of life, and to attack that phase of life with the mindset that I've kind of developed through athletics. I think that will give me the potential to kind of set myself apart from a lot of my peers. So it is exciting, just the thought of what could be. But right now, focused on football and kind of developing those things kind of on the side.
100%. What's the legacy that you would like it to be at the end of the day? I'm a big legacy guy, and there's this quote saying that when you die, that's your first time that you die.
Yeah.
Second time you die is when the last person in the world remembers you or your name or what you did. So for me, I'm trying to chase that type of legacy where I did something positive and impacted so many people's lives in such a good way where I never die.
Yeah.
What's the type of legacy that you're chasing? What do you want to leave behind?
I think it would be something similar to that. I have significance in my top 5.
Same.
So it has to mean something to me. If it doesn't mean something to me, it's why am I even doing this? But it's I just want to. I don't even know if I want to put this out there, but I want to change the world. There's things that I see about the world, and it's I think we can change that. I think there are some things that I can do to help change that, and I want my legacy to be that I was impactful in these shifts that I'm kind of envisioning and I'm talking about.
No, I'm there with you. One, I think it's crazy for me to hear you say, I don't even want to put it out in the world. You just said it best, right? You didn't think you were going to be a Husker. You're a Husker. You're out here, right?
Yeah.
In that same vein, I guess in a different context, I believe putting it out on the world is the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can say I have 10,000 goals in here, but if I don't say it and I don't accomplish them,
Yeah.
There's no accountability. Like and you'll see it on real life.
Yeah.
I try to put as much of the stuff and the goals that I have out there because that creates a certain level of pressure
for you,
for myself. Yeah, like no one else cares. I know that, right? But if I go and say like, hey, I want to be this, now I have put that type of standard on myself. So I don't think it's crazy for you to say I want to go ahead and change the world.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying so much. I like you, I think I seek out that level of accountability sometimes. Like I'll get on people in the weight room sometimes just so that to make sure that they're also looking at all my reps to make sure I'm not right. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like that level of accountability is what I need to be my best self.
Yeah. And not to take it to a dark place, but at least for me, it helps me when I feel like there are doubters.
Yeah.
It helps me when people tell me you can't do this, right? I'm sure you have heard that before. Does that help you at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, oh, you don't think I can do it? Okay, let's see.
All right, bet. Let's do it. Yeah, bet. Watch this. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to wrap it up with this. Really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Again, if there's anything that I can do to help out me or 2% football, what I don't care. Yeah. Happy to do so. Really appreciate you coming on.
No, this was great, man. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much. Yeah.